Nothing, sorry, Xiao. So you were fine getting a wedgie again? Timmy retorts, matter-of-factly rubbing his neck, speaking sort of in a monotone. Of course not. But we have no choice, so. The hooded rabbit trails off and shrugs with his hands in his pockets. Yeah. Timmy barely surprised either, the two now numb to Zhu and his goons. Humiliating them. Shaolin looked to Walt and asked what he thought, wanting Walt to join in, since he didn't talk much. How about you, Walt? You always have things figured out. Walt seemed to be put off by this, mostly zooming out of the conversation between his brother and friend, but felt comfortable enough to ask the question. Yeah, I want to be a musician or writer or movie director, video game creative director, or maybe animator. I'm trying different genres and different things. I mostly don't know which. I just keep mostly thinking about what I'll do, rather than figuring out. Shaolin just said and stared blankly, though Walt continues. I'm still too young, so I have time to figure it out. Shaolin and Timmy both just say yeah to it. Lots of yes. Clearly one of them failed speech class and spread it like the plague to the rest of them. Guess who it is in the comments. The group stays silent for a little bit, as they walked along the slim sidewalk, walking past some stands which Timmy, eyes and nose were locked to them, his mind half there and half asking some questions about Shaolin's plans after high school, Walt just reading another hefty textbook, this time about marine life. Though suddenly, they were interrupted by a group of seemingly tourists from the Americas wearing Hawaiian clothing came up with astonishment, looking at Shaolin, him starting to get a bothered and serious look in an attempt to scare them off, but the man of the group with a high-definition video camera around his neck getting in front of him. Seemingly the man was a blonde, pale white and skinny, while the woman was definitely Chinese, and their daughter a mix of the two. Oh, look, darling. It's one of those Euclideans. I never seen one in person before. I never thought one would be in Taiwan of all places. It isn't an everyday thing, bro. He looks brother 𝒲𝒾. Maybe we should leave him alone. He seems just to be a kid. The Asian wife responded, who had long unrestrained black hair and no makeup, looking slightly older than her husband. A kid? No, that would imply he's one of us. He's from an alien animal species from space, their kind. Slaughtered an entire population in our nation. He's not getting an ounce of sympathy from me. You can repay that debt though, mutant kid. Just take a photo with my daughter. The man suddenly changing his tone and looking up and twiddling his fingers excitedly. Shaolin is perplexed and mad, though still trying to find something to say. Oh, that will look so good at my social media. #found Euclidean. First human family to met an Euclidean outside New Euclid in 50 years. You made us lucky. Damn animal abomination humanoid, haha. My brother and my Tobinator friends will love it. So many likes. The middle-life tourist typing on his phone, the phone glare reflecting off of his goofy, overly pointy, his hair going around the big bald spot on the center of his scalp, not helping with his mid-life crisis face, wrinkles between his brows, showing he is not a very happy person most of the time. Shaolin wanted to speak up, but Walt rolls in front of Shaolin and stands his ground. Leave my friend alone. He doesn't want to be part of internet cloud against his own 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈. You kind of people making him feel bad about himself sickens me. Wait a second. The man suddenly searches deep in his pockets and pulls out 50 pieces of green paper, likely money. I'll pay you 50 for the photo, nothing more and nothing less. What did I just say? Leave him alone, --. It's okay, Walt. Shaolin putting a small hand on Walt's shoulder, having thin furs that make him animal-like, though he still maintains a very human appearance other than the ears, nose and ears. Then stepping forward, taking off his hood to reveal his long ears, a massive uncomfortable feeling go across Shaolin's whole body, but he persisted. He gave a slight grin toward Walt's direction and turning his head back with obvious though misery now hard-coded into him even at 10 years old. Where do you want the shot? The man after finishing texting, he says. To the wall. Lily, go with the bunny boy. The lady, now obvious Taiwanese, walked up to his daughter and pushed her on the back of the shoulder slightly to Shaolin's direction. In a very soft and angel-like voice, the little American Asian girl responds, Okay. Shaolin and the girl get together, and Shaolin forces a closed-eye grin with his index and pointer finger up, while the rest of his hand was closed, doing a finger peace sign, and the other hand and arm was still to the side. After taking the shot, the man claps with joy and slaps Shaolin on the back as he gives him the 50. Shaolin taking the money quickly from the man, and the tourists leave the man, already causing trouble with the other people operating the dumping and chicken noodle soup stands nearby, giving out American money as well, his wife having to control him. Walt, giving no shits, pulls a middle finger towards the man with the mother, covering his daughter's eyes. Timmy come up to Shaolin pulling his hood back over his ears, the ears stinging always. Timmy noticing his eyes are more reflective than before. In concern, Timmy asks, "You okay?" "I'm sniffle I'm fine." The three continue forward to the library now, finally on Nanwan Road near their middle school. Shaolin looks at the money and realizes they are American dollar bills and not Taiwanese currency, though shrugs, and puts it in his pocket anyway. The trio still pretty silent, Timmy wanting to return to the discussion of Shaolin's future plans after high school, but he is distracted seeing a local dojo in Hengchuan, the famous 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 dojo, which is considered a landmark of the area. "I think I will split from you guys for now. I'll meet you two at the library." Both the tots say back, "See you at the library." Timmy walking. "Far enough away," whispers in Walt's ear. "What do you think Bun Man is so interested in?" "Stop calling him that. Did you not see what happened? Be kinder next time he shows up, okay?" Timmy looking a while, putting his hands in his short pockets. Tim scratching his head and some dandruff falling off and biting his bottom lip. "Right. Sorry." Shaolin crossing the street with his hands in his jacket pockets, walking to the dojo snug between a saloon and a yoga class. The dojo sign saying, 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 Dojo, or just the Bloody Tiger Dojo. Shaolin looks through the window to see inside, seeing teens in white clothes practicing their punches. Shaolin sees the man training them in a black martial arts suit, with having black hair not and a constantly mad and disappointed look on his face. The kids in the class address him as Sensei Kai, one of those kids being Su-Wei Zhu, Zhu's full name. Kai teaching them about having no mercy to their enemies. Zhu is paying attention and looks to see Shaolin at the window, only grinning a little and then paying attention to his teacher. Seeing Zhu see him, Shaolin ran off kicking a wall and punching a fire. Rusted red hydrant, feeling the pain immediately after, his hand and foot swore the whole day after that. But a man near the large window saw Shaolin and quickly rushed out the double doors. "Stop!" He turned around in surprise to see a great old man with no facial hair and a thinner sumo wrestler look, with shiny black sunglasses, and wearing the same outfit as Sensei Kai. "Leave me alone. I was just seeing what this place was about. I don't want to join." "You are Adam's kid, yes?" Shaolin turns around, sort of confused, then realizing that the man in front of him was the same man on the sign of the building named Martial Sensei, 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈, a famous Japanese and Korean-based martial artist in the region that been teaching for decades and recently joining a program paid directly by the Psycho Party, where all the best students of the class can go on to get high ranking positions in the Taiwan military. Perhaps now is he retired, and this Kai guy is teaching in his place. "Do not go, young one. I see potential within you. What is your name?" "I'm Shaolin." The kid doing a civil, forced smile, and shakes hands with Heisa. Heisa, seeing the boy was agreeable, continue with what he was saying. Adam was a great martial artist, probably one of the best in Hengchuan, or even all of Taiwan. "You should join this dojo. We still have room for new members." The old sensei, reaching out his hand for a handshake, a warm, wrinkly smile on his face. Shaolin looked at him with wonder, and then looked down, thinking about his adoptive father, and himself wanting to be able to fight off Zhu. However, Zhu was at that dojo, and the fear of having to deal with him was too much for Shaolin. I can't. I'm sorry. Then here's my card." Heisa puts his hand into one of the pockets of his white and dark purple martial arts GI and pulls out a business card with the dojo's name, address, and phone number on it. "I'm sure you would become a great tiger." Shaolin stares at the card and looks to black-haired, thin sumo man. Heisa kept nodding like he was enticing Shaolin to take it. However, Shaolin's expression was unfazed. "No, thank you for the offer." Shaolin putting his feet together and arms to his side and bowing to the sensei, the sensei doing a half-bow in attempt to stop him. But Shaolin was too fast. Even when Heise yelled for him to come back, he was already down the block. Heise cursed his luck because he knew out of all his students, having the son of Koro's best student would have kicked all the competition and made the dojo unstoppable. What a loss. Shaolin gets to the Lancheng Library on Xitan Road and meets up with his friends. They go there to study math and history of Taiwan and China and a bit of science. Timmy insists do some English study, but Shaolin laughs at him and asks if Timmy can't learn English on his own. Timmy eventually gave up asking, and they focus mostly on their math and history homework. For some reason, the actually English homework is barely hard, since after the 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 Empire came to Taiwan, focus on history and math became more encouraged than learning the Western languages. Shaolin, after his studies, is walking back to his home, crossing Slim Xitan Road, having to pass a bad part of a town, expected for some homeless and some unknown motorcycle gang loitering there, instead utter destruction. Houses are ruined and burnt, once belonging to people too poor to pay their debts. Suddenly, he hears a commotion to his left. He turns to see an elderly couple having argument with tall, muscular man who is wearing green military, seemingly with emblems of a general, with his sleeves cut and an old clock watch on his right wrist. His ears are unnaturally pointed and his skin slightly pink, and his long dirty white hair, though it could be seen as a rock star's haircut. The general's face has a long scar going from forehead over one of his eyes to the side of his neck. Early 30s, and also having the feel of a hunter, wearing strange things like black leather and synthetic armor, thick boots of military class, with rubber straps over them, and his worn green militant pants being snuffled into the tops, the right under his knees, his soles having iron chains. But Shaolin realized it was the mainland general of the 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 Empire, which the people not in the school system or in the military refer to it as now the mighty and glorious General Zashu. A young prideful boy, less than half the general's size, leaves the small crowd wearing green Chinese prince-like clothes. The boy comes forward and goes into a martial arts stance, with his one of arms extend, with putting that arm's hand into a claw-like hand style like dragon, and the other hand with the same thing drawn back like a blade, his legs in black Tai Chi shoe covered feet mimicking his hands and arms positions. He prepares himself and locks his feet to the ground and then yells, "Leave those people alone." The sly Zashu looks over and laughs at the child who is telling him what to do. The boy tried to stop him from hurting the elderly couple to pay tax they can't offered. "Kid, I'm sorry, what's your name?" The goblin-looking man was saying in a mocking way, leaning his head to the side and leaning his back, putting right hand under his ear like he couldn't hear the princeling boy. "𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈." The boy still standing tall and courageous in front of all the overshadowing adults. "Su. Ha, what a strange name for a tough guy. Let me just dash." Zasha thinking about for a second, then turning his head back to 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈. "Let me give you some good advice." The taller and older man walks up to the selfless boy, seeming like a giant compared to him, then kneeling down on one knee, getting straight in his face. A disgusted look on his naturally crazed face, General Zashu says in a threatening tone, "Don't get into fights you can't win. I don't punch kids outside training." The soldiers, his men, behind him started laughing hysterically, and Zashu started to laugh too. Then when they had their fun, Zashu returned to talking to 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈. "So don't make me overly dressed, brat." The tough guy, General sighing, gets up and walks to the couple, the elderly husband walking up to him and yelling, "You can't do this to us. We will pay the house. You just need to give us time." Zashu, in a sudden, swift movement, grabbed the old man by his throat and lifted him up with one hand. The old lady screaming for help as the younger men around ran to help, but the soldiers lifted their guns up toward them, and the young men stepped back in fear. "You had time. You know this house was made and paid for by the psycho party's hands. If you can't pay in 2 months, then you and your wife will just have to live the rest of your lives in prison. Enough. Let them go." The princely clothed boy suddenly rushes forward with his arms extended and his fingers curved as he jumps up, throwing a punch at Zasha's leg. The attack landed, but the shock barely went through, and the general didn't even budge or even paying any mind. Then, with a shift movement, the boy bit General Zasha's hand hard, causing it to bleed a little. which pissed Zashu off greatly. He threw 𝒲𝒾𝓈 off with insane strength that sent him hurtling forward and crashing through and breaking through a 3-foot-wide wood pillar on the elderly couple's pale blue front porch. Looking with hatred and a wild glee in his eyes, the high-ranking general, despite his insane appearance would tell you, approached the boy with a hand raised for a slap. The elderly man pleaded for the ruffian-mad general to calm down, but nothing could stop the general's wrath now. 𝒲𝒾𝓈 just broke his pride. In a firm position with his feet digging the ground, his right hand, which was shaped to a slap, now raises like he was holding an invisible snow globe. Then a sudden sound and crackling came from his hands, purple sparks starting to pop, and quickly became strange purplish-pink electricity. The people around them were terrified and ran away from the scene. The purple electricity sparked around Zashu, and in a bright light, it became a ball of energy. A skinny and tall soldier from Zashu's ranks calls out in worry, "Don't you think this is too much, sir? He threw away my mercy. It's too late for him." 𝒲𝓈 was absolutely shocked, thinking in his head, "Is this a man, a spirit that gained a mortal form?" Him stepping away from this crazy scene, Zashu with a cruel smile on his face and his long tongue sticking out. He yells a war cry and cackle as he throws the electric purple ball of energy like a tennis ball towards 𝒲𝒾𝓈. The foreign Asian boy had barely no time to dodge and took the full force of the assault. It blew up as soon as it touched 𝒲𝒾𝓈's shirt like a grenade, blowing up in an electric and purple fiery explosion. When the large puffy cloud of gray smoke settled, half the 2-story house was gone, and an ash-covered body was left. The elders cried, while General Zashu of the Psycho Party crackled a cold smile, dusted off his hands and walked up to the ash-covered body to one knee. "Next time, kid, don't throw your life away by your need to prove yourself. Train and become a soldier. Use your durability of yours to aid the efforts of justice, of great men, then you'll become strong." He got up afterwards and waved goodbye to the frightened and stunned while walking away with his men. The old man rushing and yelling to him, "You can't do this. This is oppression. I will report this to your superiors." Zashu sighed and swinged his head around to the old man, then walking at a fast pace and getting right into the old man's personal space. "You people pay the party and the government for your homes, and we pay the cops to keep your towns safe. If you don't pay up, you don't get the emperor's promised safety. Do you understand that? Now stop fucking around and find yourself a job, old man." Zashu laughed cruelly, seeing the fear in the old man's eyes, feeling powerless, and then with his men went to leave. The younger men rushed to the old man to hold him back from trying to rush at experienced militant, who is leaving the scene he caused with his other troops, getting into a black government truck that drives away. 𝒲𝓈 rushed into the ruins and tried to wake up the fancy ancient Chinese, princely costume boy. Thankfully, the boy managed to wake up and slowly opened his eyes. 𝒲𝓈 dusted off the boy and tried to help him up, but he gave an angry look with his eyes and spat at him before pulling his arm away and trying his best to run off. Though since he sustained a broken arm and leg, it made hard just to walk as he made his way into random street corner, disappearing to who knows where. With confusion and regret from what just happened, 𝒲𝓈 walks back home with a heavy weight on his shoulders and a heavy unbalanced step. Reaching his house as the sun sets, he looks to see that old farmer's small house snug on the woodland line behind it, and him seeing through a window lit by a table candle, the farmer and his wife enjoying some noodle dishes together. The savory sweet smell made 𝒲𝓈's once sour mood better as he takes off his shoes and walks inside. There's lunch on the kitchen table, some hot savory ramen Adam made from scratch for when 𝒲𝓈 came back. The son putting his backpack up on the coat hanger near the front door and the stairway, and rushes to the back door to find his father, passing through the back garden filled with bok choy and cucumber, and sees that his father is resting on the backyard hill, seemingly looking at clouds. He calls out, and Adam raises his head a bit. "Hey 𝒲𝓈, come over and look at clouds with me." "Oh well, I got homework." "That can wait, come over here." "Come." The boy raises his shoulders in begrudging agreement and rushes to the hill and lays on the grass with Adam. "You see that cloud there?" "Yeah." "What do you think that is?" "Is it really important right now to look at clouds?" "You act like you can't learn from cloud watching, 𝒲𝓈. It's God's art piece. It's a test of imagination. Now tell me what that cloud to the right is." Ugh. It's a duck or swan. Why do you think that? It looks white, but the way the sun shines through the clouds makes it look yellow. So sometimes it looks like a swan, other times it looks like a duck. How does that make you feel? I'm relaxed, I guess. I see a cloud over there. It has a cute face, a strong personality, is swift, and has long ears. Xiaolin turned to his side to face his father. Dad! Sue, how's your new year of school been? Meet any new friends? Suddenly the hills went silent, as only nature noises could be heard. Xiaolin saying nothing as he just looked away from Adam. What's with that attitude? Wait. Adam Dart got up to his knees and spoke again. Is there trouble at school? Did someone bully you, Dash? No. No, I'm fine. I'm tired is all. No. No, you are hiding something from me. What's going on? Xiaolin getting up and defending himself, not wanting to leave parts of his life to himself. I said I'm fine, okay? Leave me alone. Son, I got to know if something bad is happening to you. You have to honest, otherwise we can't work together, Dash. It's my issue. Why do you have to protect me from everyone? I'm old enough to deal with my own problems. You're not. You're only Dash. You aren't even my real father. Stop telling me what to think. The air became stiff and heavy, Adam looking down, trying to find words that he can't find. Xiaolin, with a storm of anger, quickly got up and marched back to the house and rushed upstairs to slam his door, ignoring his foster father's pleas to talk. Son, please. I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean to offend you. Just to know I love you and really care about your safety. Asterisk sighs asterisk. Rest well, my son. Adam walks downstairs and opens a drawer and finds a dusty book. Adam opens it, revealing old pictures of Adam and a younger Xiaolin going Janfuse in Fancy World and riding that dive machine, which was utterly terrifying for him, but Xiaolin loved it. Adam remembering how he drank too much that KO coffee before he went on and threw up after. A 5-year-old Xiaolin would jump up and down on the hotel bed, exciting to ride a coaster for the first time. There was another picture of them fishing at Adam's thinking spot, 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 Lake, Xiaolin and Adam being wet from falling in the water and Adam diving in water. Strangely, Adam caught a ridiculous big fish and won a contest with it a few weeks later. Remembering those old times with his son, he couldn't help but have warm smirk, but he thought and sighed, trouble covering his face. A pencil dropped beside him, and he turned to see a recent note in the open old desk drawer, something he forgot about but wished he never remembered it. He looked to the stairs. He knew what he should do. A few hours later, Xiaolin is in his room, covering his head under a blanket of darkness to get himself to fall asleep, the sky dimming outside, not allowing him peace from his overactive mind. 2 knocks to his door could be heard, and the door creaks open with the yellow light of the hallway. Adam Dart, do you want to be alone? No. Xiaolin in bed, yawning like a cow moose. You can come in. Adam opens the door fully and walks into the room with a wooden serving tray covered with Chinese good luck symbols in Mandarin writing, the tray having 2 warm bowls of ramen noodles with chicken broth and bok choy, with 2 cups of a berry tea mixed with chamomile. Bring the tray the right bedside and taking out the tray's little supports and putting on over. Xiaolin's stomach, uncurling himself and his mood slightly better through the encouraging smell of good ramen and tea, pulls himself slightly up and looks to his father. Thank you, saying shyly, walking and placing the tray by Xiaolin's left side and gently sitting down by next to his boy to the side with his hands against the edge of the bed. Adam looking down to the floor and looking to his son. I know you have trouble talking about stuff with me, so we'll play a special game between you and me right now. I will say nothing, and you can unload all your worries right now. No retort, no anything from my lips. They're sealed tight. Xiaolin talks about his time at school and the pressures he feels, and that he doesn't want his dad to get involved because Xiaolin wants to solve his own problems, which this gives Adam an idea. You know, if this is a bully problem, you can always do martial arts. I will pay for it and everything. I already looked for one, that one near the library. It's my bully from my middle school was there. You mean the... Oh, son, you were trying to get into that dojo near the school near the center of town? You could have just asked me. You can go to my old dojo. Yeah, but I don't want to learn that from an old loner's place. I want to learn how to punch and kick like modern martial arts. Adam interjects. You may think that, but that's not what you really want. You want a solution to your problems, and I can assure you, fighting your bullying and trying to show your superiority will just make you go back to square one. Koro teaches more because martial arts is not only about fighting, it's about balance. You won't get a coin out of that dojo. They'll train you like a soldier and not a martial artist. Martial arts are more like being a monk. Like those kung fu monks on TV. Adam grinned and chuckled a bit at the remark. Martial arts is more a religious and mental search of the soul and determination rather than just physically getting stronger, Shaolin. But anyway, you'll get more if you just speak to 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈. Asterisk, deep wine asterisk. Okay, where is he at? On the edge of the far eastern side of Hingchuan, right on Hongbei Road in the Hillywood area. That's where his dojo is. 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 Dojo. That's what the location is actually named, but me and the many others that went there often called it the Crane Dojo. Okay, I'll go there tomorrow. Just make sure to not go into any suspicious dash. I know. Shaolin interjects. Adam softly laughing with a bit of pride. Oh, I've been waiting to tell you for a while, but do you want to hear Sermon on the Mount? Or most call it the Beatitudes. It's one of Jesus' best sermons, and, well, you know. I guess. Shaolin hearing a religious lesson like it's another school history class. Adam Dart moves in with his Bible on hand, on the specific page of Matthew 5:3-12, scouting the contents, then sitting closer to Shaolin and showing him the page of the little black Bible. Okay, I got a little chapter from Matthew about it. I'm a little rusty with my reading with my out-loud voice. Ahem, ha ha ha. Adam sounding more awkward, and Shaolin getting more hesitant to listen. But Adam reclaimed himself, looked to his judging son with an innocent laugh, then clearing his throat again. Ahem, here we go. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye, when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you, falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. That's all. The most important laws that Jesus wanted everyone to know, so they can find him in God, or the one above us all, watching and waiting, seeing all our actions, and judging until a day the world needs you to act, even small and meager, or great and grand. You don't choose the time, but you can assure it may come to pass, and know how to stay strong even in dark times. Adam closing the back as the tension building up on his face passes away. Shaolin, not understanding his guardian's view and feelings, asks, why is it so intense? If that story came out these days, he would be seen as badass, with healing superpowers and super agents and militaries gathering their forces to battle him. Like he's a superhuman. Like Fortis. Adam stunned silent, though quickly gets back his tongue out from his thoughts. Fortis is just some crazed loser who doesn't know how to live his life, completely consumed and shackled by his own fame. Shaolin ignores and continues. He would destroy anyone in his way that are on the wrong side of the law. Sun, Moondrop Dash. Or maybe facing off with those comic book heroes, like Tarantula Man or the Flightless Crusader. That would be real if someone with unlimited powers were. Goddamn, look! Adam slams his fist against the little desk with the lamp lighting the room desk and bed shaking suddenly before settling. Shaolin getting quiet as a mouse and pulling the bed sheet over his neck. Adam, knowing he made a scene, calms down. It's not like that. It's to help guide your actions. It's not like the righteousness of superheroes you like Vigor Man or Captain Donnell. It's more of not a physical change, but it's much, much more of a mental thing. And that's putting it lightly, it's a spiritual stepping stone. The father puts his hand on Shaolin's leg closest to the edge of the bed. And I'm not saying you should or should not, but if you take those lessons of not the religion itself, but from Christ or some Force that gives a solution for people to suffer less by their own choice. You will see improvements. Trust me, I know. Adam pointing to his chest and saying it sort of sternly and emotionally, though. Taking breath and patting his son's leg. It's not to suffer physically or emotionally that should define you. To seek good in others and do good, that is the way God, or whoever you see the Creator, wanted us to be. To be unified and face out the world's challenges together. Adam pausing for a second and patting Shaolin's leg. This is probably too much for you right now. You want to get some shut-eye, right? Yep. Welp. Adam slowly getting his old butt out of the bed and kissing his son on the forehead. Good night, Moondrop. Good night, Dad. Adam turning off the dim lamp light on tall wood bed frame above Shaolin's head and leaves the room, closing the door softly. Make sure to keep your lunch pack secure and get all you need sorted. I know. I do that every day, Dad. Okay, good night.